Hi and welcome back to The Books Are Everywhere. So today I am here with my December edition of TBR Mini Golf. Oh my god, I can't believe it's already going to be December next week and we are so close to the end of the year. But anyway, before I have a bit of a crisis about that, let's get into TBR Mini Golf. And this is basically a game where I play mini golf to decide what I read in the next month. But before we start, let's just talk about what I read this month and whether I managed to complete my TBR or not. So first, in no particular order, although I think this one was the first one I picked up in last month's game, I'm not 100% sure, I got fantasy, and for that one I chose Kingdom of the Cursed by Maniscalco. This one I actually borrowed from my friend Amy, so I don't have a physical copy quite yet, but I'll put a picture of the cover here so you can see it. But I read this one as part of a buddy read with my friends Amy and Joe after we read Kingdom of the Wicked, and I really enjoyed it. It was a little bit different to the first book, but in ways I actually really enjoyed, and I think I enjoyed it ever so slightly more than the first book. I am glad I reread Kingdom of the Wicked though before starting this one, or I think I would have been a little bit confused. But anyway, I did really enjoy it. If you don't know, this is so far it's a duology, but I think there is going to be more in the series, as Kingdom of the Cursed did end on a bit of a cliffhanger. However, Kingdom of the Wicked is following Amelia, and her twin sister has just gone missing. And she finds out that her twin sister has been kind of doing some deals with people she shouldn't. There is these kind of fates of hell, and she's been kind of dealing with them. And in her quest to kind of find out what happened to her sister and who murdered her sister, she becomes involved with these demons as well, and it is very good. I really liked the way Kingdom of the Cursed went. It was in this kind of new fantasy world, which was very enjoyable, and I believe I rated it 4.5 out of 5 stars. And then we have Classic, in which I read Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. I read this one again as part of a buddy read, but this time with Alex, and I really enjoyed this one as well. I feel like I did dip out a little bit in the middle, but this is your classic Jane Austen story. It is very famous. I don't feel like I have to explain this one too much, but we have some very famous characters in here, and I did enjoy finding out what all of this was about. Me and Alex also watched the 2005 adaptation, the film, which we both really enjoyed, and we were honestly clutching hands at the end of it because we were very emotional. But I did really enjoy reading this one. I read this one on audio and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. And I also picked up Lowest Rated, which I chose my lowest rated standalone, which was Last Chance Books by Kelsey Rodkey. And although I can see why people would rate this low, I honestly wouldn't. I really enjoyed this book. I also listened to this one on audio and it kept me company over the weekend at work, and I really liked it. This is about 2 rival bookstores and the people that work at them who end up kind of flirting with each other, and then also have this kind of hatred of rivalry between them because one of them works at an independent bookstore and is trying to save that independent family-run bookstore, and the other is a chain bookstore, and it is a lot of fun. It was really entertaining. My only downside was that I didn't always like Madeline, who was one of the main characters, but other than that, it was what it was. Like, it's nothing amazing, but I think I'd still give it like 4 out of 5, maybe 3.5 stars. I did really enjoy it. It was a lot of fun. I would recommend it if you're looking for something that doesn't take itself too seriously, you don't want something that's highly unpredictable. I would recommend this if you are just looking for something that's a bit of fun. I also picked out Sequel, in which I chose Aristotle and Dante Dive into the Waters of the World, and I am only about halfway through this one at the moment. I'm confident I will definitely finish it, because I do have at least another week of the month to go, and I am enjoying this one. I'm enjoying listening to the audiobook, which is actually read by Lin-Manuel Miranda, which I didn't expect, but I feel like this writing, Benjamin Ali-Ray Sain's writing is something that does translate really well to audio, and I feel like it's coming across really poetically, and Lin-Manuel Miranda is probably a great person to do the audio work for this book. But this is a follow-on. I think it's released 10 years after the first book, which was Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe, and I really am enjoying this. I read the first book not so long ago, earlier this year, and both of these were sent to me by the publishers, so thank you to, I think this is Simon & Schuster. Thank you to Simon & Schuster for sending me both of these. The first book was very much a staple in LGBT young adult literature. It is about two boys who kind of finding out about themselves and finding out that they are gay and ended up kind of together, and this one follows on from there, and this one is actually very, very serious in its discussions of growing up, finding out this about yourself, but also the AIDS pandemic, and it's talking a lot about AIDS at the moment. So this one isn't set in current day, as you can probably tell. I'm going to say that this one is set in like late 80s, early 90s maybe? I'm not entirely sure, I don't think it gives you too much indication, but I am really, really enjoying this one, and I was wondering where this would go considering it is a sequel that's been written so long after, but so far I am really enjoying it, and I don't know what I'm going to rate it so far because I am only halfway through, but I am really enjoying it. And the last two books on my TBR I haven't actually read yet, but I definitely will get to them by the end of the month. The first one being Weathering With You Volume 3, and this is by Makoto Shinkai, and the art is by Wataru Kubota, and this one I picked out for graphic novel. This is inspired by kind of the movie, which is Weathering With You as well, and that is by Makoto Shinkai, so it's kind of basically the same story but in a manga format. I've also read the light novel of this one, and I am really enjoying reading this series. I'm looking forward to seeing where this one takes us. This is only a 3-part series, which is what I really like about Makoto Shinkai's stories. They tend to only be in 3-part mangas. I would highly recommend the movies if you are interested in these books, but I do really enjoy the manga as well. And then the last one, which I also haven't picked up yet, is Under the Whispering Door, which I picked up for LGBT fantasy, and I do really, really want to get to this one. I think I'm just putting it off because I am scared that I won't like it as much as The House on the Cerulean Sea, but I'm sure I will. Alex read this earlier in the month and she said she really enjoyed it. It was just very different to the first one, but I definitely will be able to read this by the end of the month. But this one, as I said, is by the same author as The House in the Cerulean Sea, but it follows somebody called Wallace Price who dies and then is accepted into the afterlife, and he kind of redundantly accepts that he must be dead. However, he then finds this tea shop which is kind of halfway through life, between life and death, and meets the curious owner who is Hugo, and he helps his soul to cross over. He helps people's souls to cross over. But Wallace isn't really ready to move on, and then he's given a week to basically experience all of the things that he missed out on while he was alive. Very excited to read this one. I definitely feel like it's going to be similar to The House in the Cerulean Sea in kind of vibes and tone and writing, but it also sounds very different. I will get to this by the end of the month, I promise, but that's all of the books. I did actually add an extra one to my TBR last month because I'd missed after 5 goes, which I will explain in a minute, and I had to add 6 books rather than 5 to my TBR. Hopefully that won't happen again in December, as I imagine I will have quite a busy month, but let's get to that TBR. Let's get started on my December mini golf TBR. So how this game works is basically I have some mini golf holes. I have 4 different holes and each of them will have a prompt attached to them, which I will pick out in a second. I then try and get 5 books every month. So to do that I have to get a ball in a hole and pick a book that is related to the prompt that is on that hole. So if I do miss after 5 goes, then I do have to add another book to my TBR, which is what happened last month, so I ended up with 6 books. But if all goes well we should have 5 books on my TBR. If I don't complete any of the books within the month, then I just have to add them onto my next TBR, so that obviously makes the next month's TBR bigger. And if I get 3 hole-in-ones throughout the game, then I can either swap the book or swap the prompt and just try for a different prompt if I don't really like a prompt, or if I don't really like a book that I've chosen. But I haven't got to that bit yet because I've never got 3 hole-in-ones in a game, so we will figure that out if we get to it. But anyway, a couple of the prompts did fall off between last month and this month, so I'm just going to change them all and then we will get started with the game. So I'm going to pick these prompts blind and try and show you guys what the prompts are, put them on the holes, and then we will get started. So I also added the prompts that I'd chosen in previous months as well, apart from the ones from last month, so there might be some repeating ones in here, but there is I think like 50 in here, so I'm sure there will be some new ones as well, and I feel like it's been long enough now that I could add them back in. So I'm going to pick 4 out of here and then we will get started. So the first one is this one, and I will put that on the green one. And next is this one, which I will put on dark blue. And then we have this one, which I will put on the kind of turquoisey coloured one. And last but not least, a prompt for orange, in which I am going to choose this one. Okay, so you should be able to see all 4 holes now on the other camera, so let's get started and try and get some books. So I've just tilted the camera a bit so you can see me while I try and do this, but yeah, let's just try and aim for any of the holes. Okay, I missed green. And I attacked blue. So 2 out of 5 shots, hopefully we can get this in 5. I missed another one. Okay, well now I only have 1 more shot to try and get this book, so oh, this is not going good. I think I'm going to aim for orange because it's easiest and I'm not doing that great today. Okay, orange is my safe one, and I got it in orange, so let's see what's on orange. Okay, on orange we have shortest book, so I'm going to go on my Goodreads physical TBR and find out what the shortest book is. So the shortest book is actually not what I expected, but it is The Sister Who Ate Her Brothers and Other Gruesome Tales by Jen Campbell, and this is one that I do want to read. It doesn't feel like the right time of year. I wanted to read this closer to Halloween. This is basically retellings of classic children's fairy tales. This is for children, but yeah, they are kind of gruesome fairy tales, and I am excited to read it. This one was sent to me by the publisher, which is Thames and Hudson, so thank you to them. And now I wanted to read it by the end of the year. It doesn't really feel like it's like the right time of festive season, but I'm still excited to read it. And let's pick another prompt for orange. And I'm gonna go for this one. Okay, let's hope we do better for go 2. We missed the first shot. Kinda missed the second as well. Okay, got it in green. Let's see what's on that one. So the prompt on green is a blue book, and I have the perfect idea for this one. So my perfect idea is so far up on that shelf that I can't reach it right now, but it is Midnight in Everwood by Emma Kozner. I really wanted to read this festive season. I will put the cover here. It is definitely a blue book, and it is a nutcracker retelling that I've heard such good things about. Very, very Christmassy, so it's perfect to read close to Christmas, and I'm very excited to finally read it, so that is perfect. Let's replace the prompt on green. Okay, I'm going to put this one on there. And let's go for my third book. Oh, I missed blue, but it was so close. Okay, I got one in the weird turquoisey coloured one, so let's have a look what the prompt is on there. Okay, this is interesting. This is an anthology, so I'm going to have to think about whether I actually have an anthology on my TBR. I'm not 100% sure I do. So I really didn't think I had an anthology on my TBR, but I do. I have this one which is Black Joy, and this is by a variety of authors. And this, from what I understand, is just people celebrating their race and their culture. And I think it's a non-fiction selection of work, which is by 28 Inspirational Voices. And I think this is aimed at middle grade, I'm not entirely sure. But I didn't plan on reading a non-fiction, but this is good because I don't read a lot of non-fiction. I do need things to push me sometimes. So there we go, I'm going to read a non-fiction. Okay, we have 2 more books to choose. Let's replace the prompt on the turquoise one. And I'm going to go for this one. Okay, let's go for the 4th book. That one went straight through and the head fell off turquoise. Let's try that again. Okay, so we got into orange for the 4th book on this list. Okay, interesting. The prompt for this one is a favourite author, so I'm going to have to think about what I want to choose for this one. So this might not be the most festive read, but I'm going to pick You'll Be the Death of Me by Karen M. McManus, who is definitely an all-show-buy author for me. I've really enjoyed all of her books, especially her standalone ones. And this one is a thriller that I don't really know anything about because there is no synopsis on this proof copy, but it comes out on the 2nd of December and I was lucky enough to be sent a copy by Penguin, so thank you Penguin for this one. And I read The Cousins recently by her, which I really, really enjoyed, so I'm very excited to pick this one up as well. So this is the one I'm choosing for favourite author. And for the last book, let's replace the prompt on orange. And I'm going to go with this one. Okay, here we go for the 5th and final book on this list. Well, that was so close to green. Yay, we got through green on the second time, so let's see what the prompt is. And the prompt is a book I've hauled in the past month, so I'm going to have a look at what I have hauled and then decide. And for this one I'm going to choose You Can Go Your Own Way by Eric Smith. This is perfect, and this one I actually wanted to read in December because it is a Christmassy book as well. And this one is about 2 people, one of whom who works in a pinball cafe that I think the family owns, like an arcade cafe type thing. Pinball arcade, I don't know why I'm thinking it's a cafe. But it's a pinball arcade, and they get stuck in there in a snowstorm, and I think they basically have to kind of work together, and they have known each other for a long time and don't really like each other that much, and it kind of forces them to work together, and they get stuck in a snowstorm in this pinball arcade, which is not a cafe. But I think the reason I said that is because I do think about this book and Let It Snow, and they become one in my head, and that has a diner in it. So, you know, I've just combined them in my head. But I'm very excited to read this one. Thank you to Harper360 for sending me this one. It is already out if you want to go and check this one out as well. So before I go, a quick recap of what I'm going to read this month. So for the shortest book, I'm going to be reading The Sister Who Ate Her Brothers and Other Gruesome Tales. And then for Blue Book, I'm going to read Midnight in Everwood. And then for Anthology, I'm going to be reading Black Joy by various different authors, 28 different authors. And then for Favourite Author, I'm going to be reading You'll Be the Death of Me by Karen M. McManus. And last but not least, for which one was it? Book hauled in the past month, we have You Can Go Your Own Way by Eric Smith. So I'm quite happy with that selection for the month. If you would like to join me and see how I did, I will be vlogging the experience. I vlog every week. And I will also be updating you in next month. If you want to check out any of these previous videos, I will link the playlist to TBR Mini Golf down below. But I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you join me in my vlogs and in next month's TBR, and I will see you next time. Bye!